If you take away one thing from today about the work that the county and the city and the state are doing together, it is alignment, it is amplification, and it is energy. And we are all in this together. So thank you. Another round of applause for our mayor and our chair for their great work. Okay, now we have some opportunity to hear from some of our chairs of our committees from the task force, and I'm excited to bring on stage Senator Kate Lieber and Rob Stuart, CEO of OnPoint Community Credit Union, to the stage. The Senator and Rob co-chaired the Community Safety Committee. Welcome. Good to have you. You're coming somewhere here. We're going to discuss the 5 key recommendations that emerged from the Community Safety Committee, which, not surprisingly, was the largest committee of the task force. We came up with some big ideas, including a tri-government fentanyl emergency. 3 governments working together to say we have to be stronger and more coordinated on the fentanyl crisis in our streets. One of the recommendations is a request to the legislature to ban public use of controlled substances, as well as reduce barriers to prosecuting drug delivery. Another recommendation is ramping up the existing infrastructure to connect people with effective treatment. We have to maximize what we're doing. Another recommendation talks about focusing peer and outreach services that are already here, focusing them in the central city. And lastly, but across the board important, is elevating the law enforcement response, which we have been building in the central city. It's already underway, and we need to take all of those things into 2024. And with that, please welcome to the stage Senator Lieber and Rob Stuart. Well, hello there.
Hey.
Hello. Good to see you. Breaking up the mode here a little bit.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
What do you think? Not bad being down on the floor,
Not
yeah?
bad. No, you're probably glad to sit down.
Yeah, well,
right?
you know. It's just fun to be, look at, I love the ticker.
It's awesome.
I've just been watching it all morning. It's fantastic. Well, we're glad you're here.
Happy to be here.
The theme of the Community Safety Group was really honing in on that collaboration that we need. Community safety was a topic that kind of was embedded in all the conversations of the task force. We have 2 wonderful co-chairs, and Senator Lieber and Rob Stuart. So I'm going to start off with Senator Lieber. Tell us a little bit about the process, how you came to these decisions.
Sure. You know, you gave us a charge. You know, you told us that you wanted to make sure that we did something bold, something visible, something immediate. We knew we had to take care of making sure we could connect people to treatment, making sure that we had the correct tools for our law enforcement, and really making sure that Portland is safe and that all Oregonians can utilize the central city and feel safe. And that was really of utmost importance. So the process, thank you for giving us the largest task force.
Okay.
So that was fun. But we brought together community leaders, business leaders, both big and small business, elected leaders at all levels, right? Federal, state, county, city. We had law enforcement leaders, we had treatment providers, and we had honest conversations and robust conversations about the problems that Portland is facing. And we all could agree that what is happening on the streets of Portland was unacceptable.
Correct.
We really dug into some of those problems, and I think one of the biggest things we really discovered was just the complexity, right? We have complex systems. We have the criminal justice system, the behavioral health system, and those complexities need coordination. We wanted to make sure that we had tools for police officers to make sure that they could do the jobs that they need to do. And we wanted to make sure that we had alternative responses as well, because our police cannot solve this alone. And we know that we've got to make sure that we build up our public health response to this very, very real crisis.
Well, I just want to say thank you for, I hope you're all still my friends after giving you the most complex committee. You know, one of the things, building on that sense of the intricacies and complexities of the system, is one of the major recommendations, which is the state, the city, and the county, each government needs to declare a state of emergency around the fentanyl crisis. So we're going to do that and set up at least a 90-day structure of enhanced coordination. And some people are like, well, what does that mean? When government declares an emergency, it provides flexibility around existing resources, around existing staff. We're going to literally have a place for folks who are working on these issues right now to get in better alignment so we can maximize what we are doing. And so we're all in on that, and you'll be seeing more details of that in the next month to get that set up so we can be prepared as things change, potentially from legislative action. So, Rob, I just want to thank you and your leadership at OnPoint for being so committed to the Central City.
Thank you for the opportunity, Governor. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome. I'm sure you were like, how did I get to be co-chair of this committee? But, you know, so tell me about what it's been like for you, and let's talk a little bit about those issues around public use that is a focus.
You bet. It is, first of all, it's been an honor and a pleasure to have the opportunity to serve. And having the opportunity to work with such a diverse group of individuals, business leaders, lawmakers, has been both rewarding and it's been incredibly challenging. And I want you to know that we took your leadership to heart, the direction that you provided when you said, quit thinking about the past and start thinking about the future in coming together. And understanding that everybody walked into that room with their own set of ideas and their own plan. But what ended up happening as we continued to meet and as we continued to work together is you could start to feel the collaboration and the work together, understanding this isn't just a government issue, this isn't just a business issue. We have to work together. The one thing that we did agree upon immediately and rapidly was public drug use. And that is something that obviously we'll be talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And also the challenges of prosecution, which apparently,
absolutely,
you know, it's not only the public, but that, and I know we have a legislative leader here, but legislature is going to take this on, right? That's the plan.
The legislature is absolutely going to take it on, and it is the opportunity that we have in this particular situation is that for the community, for workers, for visitors to our city to have the confidence to come and be a part of downtown, public drug use has to stop.
Great.
And the prosecution of how that happens needs to ramp up. And so
absolutely.
we want everybody to understand that we appreciate the fact that this is not an easy topic to discuss. And my counterpart, the senator, is going to have the opportunity to take this on in the session coming up. And so I'd like to turn it over to her to talk a little bit more in depth.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, you know, we've got to stop visible drug use in Portland, period, hard stop. It's unacceptable. And the legislature is acting, right? We've got a joint committee on drug crisis and community safety response. It's a fairly unusual step. We're meeting outside of the legislative process. We've already had hours and hours of testimony. And we are going to be looking at this issue along with many other complex issues in this space, as well as making sure that we give prosecutors, you know, they need to have the tools they need to have to make sure that we can go after drug dealers, because we've got to stop the supply as well. So we will be acting in February.
Yes, thank you. Well, and again, alignment, right? Everybody rowing in the same direction, including our colleagues at the state legislature. So thank you. And in anticipation of change, one of the recommendations that came from your committee was ramping up, being prepared. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, you know, look, this cannot all be on the backs of law enforcement. We must ramp up both peer services, right? We've got to make sure that there are more peers that are out in the community, helping law enforcement, partnering with law enforcement. making sure, there you go. I like a good clap in a room. All right. Making sure that we can let law enforcement do what they really need to do, and making sure that the public health side of this crisis is addressed appropriately. So we got to ramp up the infrastructure. We've got to make sure that we've got the people in the right spots. And as we continue to collaborate, I think that that collaboration between public safety and public health is going to be the key to getting us out of this crisis.
Agreed. Agreed. And one of the other things that you spent a lot of time on the committee was really looking at existing resources and how we could, you know, of what we have on the ground right now, can we spend more time in the central city? Because it takes a while to hire up new people and things like that. So talk about that piece of focusing on the central city.
Yeah, you know, I think that if you can, I think small to think big, right? And make sure that we can prove a model. I think a model of making sure that you've got peers out that are partnering with law enforcement, making sure law enforcement is able to enforce the law, making sure that there are appropriate places to take people. We need a 24/7 sobering center that I know Multnomah County is ramping up. We've got to have alternatives for those on the street, and I think we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make sure that these two systems were talking to each other and working together. And in the short term, before we can ramp up and really hire, we want to concentrate in a smaller area to really prove the concept of what we're trying to do here.
Yep, because the goal is to make progress. And law enforcement is a key part of community safety. It's not the only part, but it is a part. So Rob, tell us a little bit more about, there was a lot of conversations about the citywide challenges and what we can do in the central city. So where did we land?
Let me start off by thanking you for putting the state police in downtown Portland to make a difference during an important time. That was something that was needed your leadership, and we appreciate that very much. And that presence is incredibly important, and happy to report that it's continued to be expanded and grow throughout into 2024. It is a proven fact that police presence increases employment confidence, tourism confidence. It adds a complete layer of confidence to the overall city, and it allows more people to come down and be a part of the central city to enjoy restaurants, to shop, and to do those things that we believe that is incredibly important. This was a tremendous amount of conversation went around the entire policing conversation on this particular task force. It was wonderful to have an opportunity to work with both chiefs of police of the Portland Public Police Department, as well as city, county, sheriffs, state, having an opportunity for us all get together and to collaborate. And I'll be very candid with the group. In the beginning, there was a lot of posturing that took place. There was a lot of, you know, it's my budget, this and that. What ended up happening is you could actually see the collaboration coming together for a better overall policing of the city. One of the things that was heard loud and clear is that police cannot do it all. We have to have all of those additional services that are needed to make sure that police can focus on crime, and that all the other agencies are there supporting the police department so that we can work in harmony for a good point moving forward. Those discussions were incredibly passionate. They were, there was lots of opinions, but we all agree in the governor's direction that we're going to start now and look forward instead of worried about working backwards. And continued focus on areas that have worked so incredibly well. Portland Clean and Safe is a perfect example of a group that is working really, really well, and the continued expansion of that will be great. So, continue to see increased police presence into 2024 in the downtown core area. Continued opportunity to work with the state of Oregon in educating new and upcoming police officers, as we know that, as the mayor stated earlier, the ramp up of the existing police force so that people are getting trained properly. And an overall police presence so that we can take a stand now and start having things move in a positive direction moving forward. Yeah.
And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you, Governor, really thank my partner in crime here, Rob Stuart, who we had a great working relationship. I really appreciated it. And I am so hopeful. I really am. I mean, we're seeing the city in a new light with collaboration. Yes. I think with the business collaborating with government, that's collaborating with both state and federal and county and city. And we, I think we even saw it today here on this stage.
Absolutely, it is. It is. If you can't feel it, especially when you're hearing the mayor and the county and everybody coming together, you're starting to feel that positive momentum and that positive direction moving forward. Governor, thank you for taking action and putting us together. We're excited to work together.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob, and thank you, Senator Lieber, for your work.
Appreciate it.
Really great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.